A new video had popped up in my feed: Revenge of the Girl Boss, or Why Can't Hollywood Write Good Women Characters by Emily Butler. And the title was intriguing. This subject is starting to gain traction online, but the negativity surrounding any criticism is sometimes difficult to wade through. However, I am very glad I eventually watched Miss Butler's video. It was well done, considered, thought provoking, and intelligent criticism of a very real problem in modern creative arts. Speaking from an American male point of view, Miss Butler's intelligent, respectable opinions are an absolute surprise and stimulating breath of fresh air. I have watched for decades as books, TV shows, video games, and movies have become increasingly anti masculine with considerable revulsion. I actually briefly dated a girl who genuinely thought that The Woman King and the Disney live action remake of Little Mermaid were excellent films. This was an educated person in the medical field. So, to hear that some women clearly do not enjoy or respect the patently idiotic drivel that Hollywood has been excreting by the metric ton is a genuine relief to me. So, although I was at first resistant to listening to her, I have to admit that I found myself cheering out loud at some of her points. She is 100% correct. Feminists have absolutely ruined writing. The misconception that seems obvious to me is that our entertainment industry is even producing entertainment anymore. It isn't, and has not for quite some time. The powers that be are not remotely concerned with the copious amount of financial loss. This, to them, is an investment in culture. They are not producing movies to make money, certainly not to be artists. They are using the platform of cinema to change minds, to influence children, and to subvert the culture. The soul of Hollywood hates America, regards men as oppressors and the source of evil, while anointing all females as wonderful creatures who deserve praise for merely existing. It seems like all the movie reviewers across social media are still locked into the myopic view that movies are an art form to be critiqued, and they are all asking how long these movies have to lose money before Hollywood learns. They are not asking relevant questions, clearly. The only thing I would like to point out is this video came out June 23rd, 2026, yet Wonder Woman, starring Gal Gadot, came out in 2017, was hailed as some kind of feminist grand success, and had exactly the same problems that Miss Butler outlines here. The same moronic, insulting, shallow concept. Here is a male superhero, muscles and fighting and beating up bad guys, Captain America, Superman, etc. Create Wonder Woman, who is the same but has breasts. I remember sitting in the theater, watching Wonder Woman on the big screen in 2017, having a young daughter, having women in my life that I loved, and wondering how the writers seem to think that this is what women want to see on screen. Women doing manly things, women punching and fighting. The scenes that bewildered me were the ones that depicted an origin story, showing Princess Diana growing up on her island of Amazonian women. All of them were merely muscle-bound idiots. Where is the female wisdom coming from the older women raising Diana? Her mother, the queen, was a weak and cowardly moron. Her aunt was just a dumb brute. They should have been great warriors, yes, but couldn't they have had personality, passions, and ideas as well? Couldn't they have taught Diana about family and teamwork and empathy and kindness and courage, etc., etc.? It was all so baffling. I remember watching The Force Awakens 2015. I was expecting a female lead, a new face to rally behind and cheer on in the pantheon of Star Wars characters. Instead, we got a shallow cardboard copy of Luke Skywalker, except perfect in every way from birth. They could have written Ray Palpatine as an alien or a droid, so utterly sexless and devoid of human traits was she. The worst part, of course, were the interviews with Daisy Ridley, decrying the accusations of Mary Sue as, quote, sexist, unquote. Not only was Daisy Ridley hopelessly ignorant of female contributions in the world of writing, and specifically in science fiction writing, you know, the genre that just made her a household name and a millionaire, but she was also assisting in the relentless reduction of female characters to a one-dimensional copy of a male character herself. I will just recap here because the irony of female writers, actresses, and creatives in this space who fail to comprehend this term is just so perplexing. The facts. Paula Smith was the editor of the Star Trek fanzine Menagerie from 1973 to 1981. As an aside for Gen Z, a fanzine was a physical stack of paper glued together on one side that one could physically hold in one's hands and read words from. Having received 1 vigintillion examples of piss-poor writing from young girls, Miss Smith decided to assist them by writing an example, a parody of the most common mistakes that they were uniformly making. The title of this story was A Trekkie's Tale. The main character was, you guessed it, Mary Sue. Mary Sue was instantly beloved, admired by all, and could accomplish all of the other characters' roles without fail, better than any of them could. She did Spock's jobs, Uhura's job, etc. Kurt and all the others simply loved her, immediately and completely. Paula Smith published this as a lesson to young aspiring female writers. Her goal was to make them better writers by showing them the obvious mistakes they were making in writing self-insert characters that were obviously there to make the writer feel good, not be a good story that anyone else could enjoy. Yet, here we are, Daisy Ridley, Kathleen Kennedy, and Anna Nogueira, the writer of Supergirl, and far too many others to count. Just keep making the same mistakes and, most disturbingly, blaming men for their failure to grasp the art of storytelling. Currently, with Supergirl and so many others, female writers keep doubling down on the same one-dimensional, puerile formula. Write a girl who punches things to save the dumb men. Okay, it still sucks. It is still not creating characters that appeal to large audiences and generate long-lasting connections that resonate with the human spirit. The title of Emily Butler's video is, Why Can't Hollywood Write Good Female Characters? I would add one small edit and change the title to, Why Can't Women Write Good Female Characters? After all, women now rule Hollywood. Women dominate modern writing. Books, TV shows, and movies are largely, if not written by women directly, are written to appease angry women everywhere. The new Supergirl was written by a woman with zero experience or credentials that could have earned a job like that. DEI at work, clearly, but let us not forget that men like James Gunn, Dave Filoni, Paul Feig, and even, dare I say, George Lucas himself are responsible for enabling this legitimizing of female creatives without any good reason to do so. I guess the one myth that looks less true right now is the accusations against men that claim the patriarchy oppressed women and has kept them out of the theater and movies for centuries. Current reality casts doubts on the claims that, in Shakespeare's time, women were actually banned from the stage due to chauvinistic gatekeepers. Mayhap it was not men holding women back from success. Maybe, just maybe, the female actors in those days were women, just as narcissistic and shallow as Millie Adcock, Rachel Ziegler, Daisy Ridley, Jada Pinkett Smith, Jennifer Lawrence, the first female action star ever, Amandla Stenberg, Jodie Turner-Smith, et al. Perhaps their insufferable desire for more personal attention and less attention to simply telling a good story just got to old Bill Shakespeare, and he said, "Now, get me a wig and some rouge, and I will play Cordelia." Seems more likely.